Staggering new numbers from the Department of Homeland Security. DHS finding that more than 700,000 foreign nationals overstayed their visas last year. And that figure could actually be even higher because this only counts people who came through ports of entry by boat or by plane. Joining us now is Florida Congressman Francis Rooney. He is on the Foreign Affairs Committee. Thank you for your time this morning, sir. Can you tell us what you can conclude from this? These are some staggering statistics.
Well, first, I want to thank you for bringing this up. It's an amazing asymmetry, if you will. When I go around talking about the need for securing our borders and protecting our sovereignty, I mentioned that almost half the people in this country came in here legally on a visa and overstayed it. And people look at you like, okay, what'd you say? Well, that's a big deal, and you've highlighted it, 700-something thousand in a couple of years ago, including the San Bernardino killer, and including a guy that just killed a policeman in my district in Fort Myers who had been in and out of the country several times. So we need to bring visibility to the need to use the biometric tools that we have to police visa overstays.
So bring visibility to it. We're talking about it. What do we do about it?
We need to deploy a biometric enforcement system where we can keep track of people that are in this country, know where they are, know who they are, because if they're here on a visa, they're not citizens, okay? They're here because we voluntarily let them in to go to school or to work or to see their family. So they've got to comply with a different level of scrutiny than an American citizen.
So by country, so with the number 701,000 overstayed their visas. That's the new DHS number. From where they came, overstayed visas by country, number one, Canada. And you can see that number is 92,000. Mexico, number two. Venezuela, number three. United Kingdom, 4. Colombia, 5. What are you able to conclude from that?
Well, what I conclude is that we have a border control system, whether it's by air, land, or sea, that's leaky as a sieve, and it needs to be tightened up. You're not much of a sovereign if you can't control who's coming into your country and where they are when they're there.
And a lot of these are students, foreign exchange visitors. More than 4% of them stayed after their visas expired. But that's actually a drop of 5% from the previous report from the previous year, Congressman. So go ahead.
Well, evidently, student visas are a lot higher percentage than family and work visas that overstay.
Yeah, gotcha. So that would lead to that number being a little bit bigger. So overall, how does this fit into the big picture and what you're seeing as far as the policies being implemented by the Trump administration right now and tightening up our borders?
Well, I think the focus has been on the southern border and building more wall, which is important because people can cross the border too often and too easily. But we've got to be focusing on these visa overstays as well. You know, when you go to Europe or Asia, they check you when you check into a hotel or something. They take your passport and they notify the authorities. Everybody knows where you are. We have to get some kind of enforcement mechanism. And from what I understand from the Homeland Security people, you can use biometrics to do it.
So give us size and scope. I mean, you're seeing the president pour his attention and wanting all this funding for the border wall. Are you drawing attention to what you see as a bigger problem with these visas?
I'm doing my best. Every time I talk about immigration, border security, et cetera, I mentioned this statistic that almost half of the people that are in this country illegally came on a legal visa and overstayed it because we have no way of knowing who's here legally, overstaying a visa, who's overstaying a visa and who's not.
But again, are you suggesting that the Trump administration's border enforcement policies, are they misguided? Are they addressing the real problems?
Well, I think there's so much focus on the wall that the idea of policing visa overstays has kind of been swept under the rug a little bit. But I know there are a lot of people in Homeland Security, there are a lot of people on the Homeland Security Committee in the House of Representatives that are acutely focused on the need to police visa overstays.
An estimated 40% of the roughly 11 million people in the country illegally stayed past their visas. This is a number that you're drawing attention to. Likely we're talking about it right now. It's going to get a lot of attention. Is the overall trend, are those numbers rising? What are you seeing as far as the longer-term trend?
Well, I don't know if they're rising right now, but over time, as long as people know that they can come in here on one of these student or family or work visas and just stay, you got to assume that more people are going to figure it out. I mean, look at how they figured out the DACA thing, you know, that if they got here, they could stay.
Interesting. Congressman, we're talking about it. Thank you very much. That's a new report out from DHS highlighting those foreign nationals overstaying their visas. Thank you for coming on the program this morning.
Thanks for having me on. Have a great day.
In a moment here, while the governor of Maine says he would rather go to jail.